The Green Bay Packers have officially concluded all of mandatory minicamp, OTAs, and even rookie minicamp as well. And with that being said, we are just about roughly a month away from the start of NFL training camp. And from there, we're going to have preseason games, regular season games. It is going to come very, very quickly. So I'm excited. However, in this video, I wanted to break down a couple of players who have positioned themselves to break out in 2024. Some guys who have already moved up the depth chart and are competing for maybe even day one starting jobs. There's a couple of them in this video we're going to break down that I am extremely excited about. Now, before we dive into the guys I think are poised to break out, comment down below, who do you think is going to break out this season? Could be a rookie, a second-year player, a veteran, someone who's just acquired this offseason. Let me know really quick, a player, maybe two players, and why you think so as well. And with that being said, let's kind of dive into the video. Now, the first player I have on my list is a guy that has, taken the offseason really seriously. Last year, did showcase ability to break out. Like, he flashed, some really good signs. But I feel like the work he has put in this offseason in terms of building muscle, being more in football shape, but also attacking, being more physical, being aggressive. Carrington Valentine is a DB who I think may not be a day one starting cornerback right now, but has already worked his way up the depth chart and has given Eric Stokes a run for his money, right? Now, what helped him the most was the fact that Jair Alexander missed, the majority of minicamp and OTAs, allowing him to slot in and just show what he has, right? Show what he has to offer with the first team defense. And I'll tell you right now, he has not only looked like a really good cornerback, but he's looked like the best DB on the team in most of the practices, right? Getting some big time PBUs versus some of the top end receivers on this team. Showcasing his speed, his aggressiveness to come out and stop the run, but also some really good sticky coverage as well. I mean, this dude has added a ton of muscle. He is in phenomenal shape, and new defensive coordinator, right, Jeff Hafley, is amazed, right? He is blown away with Carrington Valentine, thinking he is ready to fit into this defense almost right away, right? Good strength, good size, good speed, good quickness, elusiveness, but the ability to come up and stop the run is something you want in a DB, right? So I think Carrington Valentine has positioned himself to not only break out in 2024, but be one of the best cornerbacks on this team alongside Jair Alexander and Keyshawn Nixon. Now listen, it's not going to just be handed to him. We still have to see what he does with training camp. There's no pads, there's no contact in mandatory minicamp and OTAs. So once training camp comes around, we'll really get to see how much of an impact he will make on this team. But right now, it might be a long road ahead, but do not be surprised at all if he comes out here and makes a case to be the starting boundary corner outside of, Jair Alexander. Now, another very interesting thing about this team going into mandatory minicamp was where they were going to plug and play some of the guys on the offensive line, especially Jordan Morgan, the guy who they drafted, early in the draft at left tackle. They thought he could be their blindside protection for Jordan Love. However, things have actually been going a lot differently as of late, right? So the versatility, the dynamic of this offensive line has been something that stood out to me. Now, before we jump into that and break down the offensive line and some other guys who are breaking out, do me a quick favor. Hit the like button, not only so we can get this video out to more Packers fans, but also, guys, subscribe. It's free. It does not cost anything to subscribe, and we will be covering the Packers throughout the entirety of the offseason, all of training camp updates, right? We got preseason, we got regular season, and we're going to be breaking down all 22 coaches' film, making sure you guys know exactly what's going on during the games as well. So join the family. It's free. Doesn't cost anything. With that being said, let's dive back into the video. Now, Jordan Morgan has showcased a lot of versatility, being able to play left tackle, left guard, and right tackle. The man could pretty much play anywhere, which is huge. just when it comes to the versatility. We saw Zach Tom play a couple of different positions, right tackle specifically, Andre Dillard, left tackle, and now right tackle. I mean, he's moved all across. Sean Ryan's getting starting snaps. We have, Josh Myers, Elton Jenkins, Rasheed Walker. I mean, they have so many guys that are interchangeable, right? They have a right guard who can play left tackle. They have a right tackle who can play left tackle. They have a left guard who can play right guard. I mean, these guys could play so many different positions, which is going to really, really help them come regular season time. So I'm very excited to see how those guys continue to get better and better as time goes on. But let's get into another couple of guys who have, really been poising themselves for an unbelievable season in 2024. Now, obviously, Jordan Love ended 2023 really, really strong, right? But man, I could see him doing that for the entirety of 2024, and I am excited to see what he can do. And you know what's crazy is the growth we saw from game 1 of last season to the last game of last season was unreal. But now, the growth that we're seeing from the last game of last year to now is even bigger. I mean, dude, it is insane. Jordan Love, every single day, is getting better and better and better. And one thing that's come along with that is the connection, right? The chemistry with the receivers, with the Christian Watsons, with the Romeo Dobbs, with the Jaden Reeds, the Tavion Wickses, right? But more importantly, the Bo Meltons of the world is starting to really showcase their talents as well. I mean, Bo Melton had a couple of big-time games last year, and that's translated right into, mandatory minicamp this season. So, man, I am so excited to see what this team can be like with all these wide receivers, with the 2 stud tight ends in Tucker Kraft and Luke Musgrave, and even now bringing in Josh Jacobs. This offense is going to be one of the most fun, one of the scariest, but also, dude, one of the most electric offenses in all of football. I mean, you talk about the versatility and the depth that they have, even at the running back position. Drafting a guy like Marshawn Lloyd, who looks like he could be someone who gets a ton of work right away alongside Josh Jacobs. But you also have A.J. Dillon. You also have Emmanuel Wilson. And you have Ellis Merriweather as well. So this team is extremely deep offensively. And basically every point every point that you look at, wide receiver, running back, tight end, quarterback, offensive line, the versatility has stood out the most to me. Now, there is one more guy I have on my list here that is poised to break out this year, and it's actually a UDFA of last season, Brenton Cox. I mean, this guy has looked really good. Now, it's a little bit different from Carrington Valentine. I don't think he has a clear pathway to be a starter for this team, but when you look at what he has done so far, it's actually pretty legendary. I mean, the dude has came in here and worked every single day and has got better every single day. Now, I'm not saying that he is a guy that will be a day 1 starter. I'm not sure he'll even, play a ton of snaps during the regular season. But what I am saying is the growth that we've seen from last year to this year, the work ethic is crazy, and you do not want to lose a guy like this on your team, right? So when it comes to the 53-man roster, when it comes to the cuts, this is not a guy you want to cut, because he will be picked up elsewhere, and he will showcase to you why you made a mistake by releasing him. I think Brenton Cox is a guy who adds, insane depth behind a guy like Rashawn Gary, behind a guy like Preston Smith, behind a guy like Lucas Van Ness or Kobe Wooden, right? I think he's going to have a monster year in terms of just the development, right? Showcasing what he can really do in the football field. And I think he may be just a year away from maybe 2025 is when he's really going to showcase what he has. But man, when you just turn on the film and when you look at what this dude can do, physically, his bull rush ability, the ability to just get through an offensive lineman, the pure strength, it just doesn't go unnoticed. And he is really starting to, separate himself from some of these other guys in the depth position of the defensive end. So, man, you got to be excited. You got to love what they're, showcasing here in Green Bay. And, some of these guys are really, really looking good. Now, I do want to end off this video by giving a big shout out to the rookies. The Packers did an unbelievable job. Unbelievable, right? Not only do you have guys who are going to make an impact on this team from day 1 as rookies in Jordan Morgan, who looks like will be a day 1 starter at either left tackle or right guard, maybe even right tackle, right? But you also have a guy like Marshawn Lloyd, who has already proven he should be playing at least a decent amount, right? Edgerrin Cooper, another one. Edgerrin Cooper will be your day one starter. He will. I mean, you just look at the physicality of that dude. Insane. Tyron Hopper. I don't think Tyron Hopper is going to be a day one starter, but I think he's going to get reps. I think he's going to get a lot of chances, opportunity in this defense. And then you have Javon Bullard, who I do think will be a day one starter. You have Evan Williams, who I do think will get some burn early on in the season. And then Katan Oladapo. If there's ever an injury, this team is extremely deep with young talent. I mean, I am pumped for this team. Unbelievable drafting 3 day one starters in my opinion, but 5 players overall, or maybe even 6 or 7 players in this draft that will make day one impacts on this team. What a draft. What an offseason. Not spending too much money, but getting 2 day one starters in Xavier McKinney and Josh Jacobs. This team is better. They're developing. They're young. They're hungry. Man, I am excited. Let me know what you guys think. Hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, join the family, and comment down below a player you think could break out this season for the Green Bay Packers. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.